joined us from Abu Dhabi. And this is sort of like a TV show that you guys used to see on the TV when there are different locations connecting through the web. So here is the case. And our first speaker is Nati Nazar, Service Excellence Director, who has more than 10 years of diversity experience. She has numerous certifications, CCPO, CCBA, and pragmatic marketing. She also was voted as a BA thought leader this year. She is evangelist of business analysis, experienced speaker, trainer, mentor and lector, and also inspirer, and co-creator of IIBA endorsed courses, trainings, workshops, and BA hackathons. So she, on top of business analysis, she is also experienced in both marketing and product management, and enjoys communication, sharing her professional experience. So please welcome, this is Nati Nazar, Service Excellence Director at SoftServe. Hi, Nati, how are you doing?
Hi, Dennis. I'm doing great. Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting to this conference. It, it feels so weird because typically I spoke in international conferences as delegate from Ukraine, traveling to London, Frankfurt, whatever. And this is the first time I speak for Ukraine as a delegate from abroad. So it's like the other way around. So it feels really, really weird, but quite interesting.
Okay, that's cool. So your topic sounds like service excellence or how to know your client better. And I do believe that all our PMs who are attending this conference as viewers are really interested in how to know the client better and what does the service excellence mean. So could you please tell us about that? And please take the stage. It's yours for your topic.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this is quite an interesting topic, and I got interested in that a couple of years ago. Service excellence, it's something that is known on the market already. There are a lot of books written about that, but not everyone, got interested or implemented that in the company, because in the past, it was never associated with the software providers. And we are also service providers, but we never looked at it from this perspective. So typically when we speak about learning more about the client and we speak in terms of project teams, we're trying to understand everything that is needed for us to perform, to deliver what we promised to the client in our project. And we'll look at it from the project perspective. BAs look more from the perspective of the scope, PMs from their own and stuff like that. Then all together as a project team, and not only as a project team, because when we deliver service to the client, it has much longer cycle, right? Whatever we say, whatever we present to the client, has a meaning, and it's done on purpose. At the very end, we have to deliver value. And it might be even, this value that we deliver is co-created by more people than just the project team, yeah? And we rarely take a look at this, from the perspective, so what can we do, or how we can do that in a way that, it will not only meet the client's expectation, but also exceed the client's expectation. And actually, the service excellence as the sort of framework is actually what it is about. It's how we learn more about the client to develop business, to drive satisfaction, to drive high KPIs whatsoever, and deliver value to the client, but also to to have this engagement within the team. Yeah, so it's not only focused on a client, but it's also focused on our internal on associates, on our internal services that help us deliver that value to the client. So it has like both ways. So that's what I'm going to talk about it. I know this might sound a bit conceptual, but I will try to deep dive into as much details as I can during this speech, and I think we can continue the conversation after the conference, either in private or on some other events. So let's start with the small things. So if we're saying that we as service providers, the people who work in IT or who don't work in IT, yeah, whatever we do, if we do business and we deliver something to the client, and by deliver, I don't mean there is some logistics to that, yeah, I don't mean we deliver ice cream or whatsoever, but we deliver a value. Yeah, we're committed to something, the client is expecting something, and we do that. That is, probably that is a service. So how would you define a service? And I want to ask this question to the audience, and I would like to see your inputs. You have QR code in your screen. Please scan it with your mobile phones, and you will be taken to the page where you can provide, you will have, free text fields where you can provide your understanding of a service. Try to add several word combinations, what you think a service is. For example, a service is, I don't know, value. A service is something else. Yeah, you can describe in several words. And in 30 seconds, we're going to have the screen with results of what kind of inputs you've provided. It will give me a better understanding, how do you understand it? If we're on the same page, or we have completely different knowledge about what a service is. So please take a look at the QR code, scan it with your mobile phones, and you will be taken to the page where you can provide your inputs on how you define a service. And I would ask the tech team to show us the page with the results. It's going to be like, word bingo thing, word clouds that we're going to build together with the audience. Okay. Will anybody help me? I hope that you guys still can hear me. Okay, so we can see that. And what do we have? That's a really small screen for me to watch. So we have value, we have providing value, we have quality, we have, what else do we have? I can hardly read it. So Denise, if you see that better and you can step in and comment what you see on the screen. Because using this new technologies is cool, but I'm doing this for the first time. Dennis, are you here? Okay.
So we have value,
yeah.
quality, providing value, favor.
Okay.
Resolving is important, sharing the business, fulfilling a need, and a few others.
Okay, so that's that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you very much for sharing that. Now we can come back to the presentation and see, what it is. So so there is a lot of definitions what a service is. I just picked the one that makes more sense. So any means we come up with, actions, I don't know, means, yeah, in general, because it may be more than just actions that deliver value to the customer and facilitate the outcomes we have committed to, and this is what the client expects. This is what a service is, yeah. So we promise something, the client bought it and is expecting, yeah, and the client has, certain understanding of how it should look like or feel like or whatsoever, and we are committed to deliver that. And in order to deliver that, yeah, we need to, we need to do something. We need to establish some sort of, I don't know, something, a system, a process, a workflow, unite people together, and something that will be workable and something that will foster that outcome generation. So what happens, but how to do that, and I found a very interesting consultant and training agency about service excellence called Uplifting Service. And what are they saying is that, ask yourself a few questions. So if you deliver a service but you want to be successful in what you deliver, ask yourself, if you want to learn more about the clients, if you want to get more insights to drive your service performance, if you want to differentiate from your competition and get immediate, service results that, build a stronger, service culture, if you say yes to at least one of those questions, then you need to think about service excellence. because just having a service is not enough. Yeah, we need to foster, this, satisfaction. We need to make clients happy, but also we need to have happy teams, because if you read anything by Richard Branson, so he always says, happy people, happy associates make your clients happy. So this is what you need to focus on. And this is what service excellence is about. So service excellence is actually about how we can exceed those expectations. How we can be better in delivering the service, because we live in a highly competitive world, and there are a lot of companies like yours, like us. So we compete every day. Yeah, this is how market works. And in order, to be better, in order to provide this quality, in order to provide this value, which you've mentioned in that, word cloud, we need to do something different. Yeah, we need to differentiate. And this is what service excellence is about. It is the ability of service providers like all of us to not just constantly meet the needs of the client, but occasionally, hopefully, often than occasionally, exceed those customers' expectations. So how we can do that? Yeah. So what it is about? Let's do a little step back. So if we deliver services and we want to implement some sort of service excellence, we need to understand how it works. So typically what we learn about the clients these days, yep, all the companies, they do research, marketing research, they, hire different agencies, and then they trying to understand, what's going on the market, who does what. Let's analyze the competitors. But the point is that we typically analyze what happens right now. Yeah. So there are certain expectations as of today, yeah, as is. And our clients, when they come to us and we talk to them, they have a certain problem right now. Yeah, and they have a certain expectations right now. But in a week time, in a month's time, in a half a year time or a year time, it might change. Yeah, because there are so many different things happening in the world, on a market, I don't know, in politics, in economy, in healthcare, yeah, like let's say like COVID, yeah, that they impact, what they would expect in some period of time. And there are little, mechanisms left how to measure that. And this is what they call customer perceptions. So this to be state, yeah, they want to have something to be. And it's not as easy to be as we try to analyze in terms of analyzing the scope of the project, the scope of the product that we develop for the client. It's bigger than that. Yeah. So there are certain things that, impact clients' decision today, and there are certain expectations to us, but they might change. And we need to understand how to analyze this future perspective, analyze that perception. And the service excellence formula is when, if we would understand customer perception minus customer expectations, there will be some, positive part left. Yeah, there will be more to that. It means we provide an excellent service. It means we exceed the expectations. Yeah, we do a little extra from what they expect today so that it meets their future expectation, or it triggers them to realize that this is what they would expect in the future. So that's what is service excellence about. Not just complete, the bullet points in your contract, but do a little extra. It doesn't mean, you need to develop, extra lines of code for the client. Yeah, but you need to understand what makes the service more special than that. Is that communication? Is it something different? But you need to add it and see how it can, impact your relationship in the future. So this is the formula. Now, this is what we expect from the client. But if we would look inside, if we would look at our internal teams, it means we need to understand the needs. We need to motivate the team to create some ideas to surprise the clients. Yeah, that's not what just expected. Let's do something more than that. Let's add a little extra. Let's add something, that will, create maybe a little bit, added value to the client and fulfill their future expectation or perceptions. So when we look at it inside, we will see that we want to have, symbiotic teams that understand the client so well that can, see that to be state and come up with some creative ideas how we can satisfy the client in a different way. But in order to have those teams, we also need to do something. We need to motivate the teams. We need to, engage the teams. We need to set up some leadership principles or some other processes that would, foster teams to be creative and to, desire to, you know, do something extra for the client and deliver that excellence. So I know it sounds very philosophical, but we will get into more details. Just you know, stay with me. So those are two main focuses that we have now. So how do we get there? There are really a lot of different books that I would recommend at the very end that you can, you know, take a look at or read or, you know, skim through, that will provide you more, you know, understanding how it works. First of all, what we need to do, we need to understand how actually we collaborate with the client. What are our different encounters, yeah, our communication points for the clients, where, you know, we provide something and receive a feedback from the client. When we have this feedback loop, very often it's about some face-to-face activities, but not like that, but not always like that, because we live in the world where things are provided remotely and that face-to-face is not always possible. But through entire life cycle that we live through with our clients, you know, we go through certain, you know, feedback loops, which are called moments of truth. Yeah. And there might be multiple moments of truth that can be combined in some sort of customer journey. There is a, you know, very famous term these days. And in all of the books about, you know, service excellence, they mention the moments of truth, because that's exactly what we offer something, and we, you know, and we can measure, you know, the feedback back. Yeah, if what we offer makes sense, if what we deliver makes sense, if how we do that makes sense, if there is a quality to what we do. So that's a constant, you know, back and forth collaboration and communication with the client. But on those specific moments of truth, or service encounters, we can understand if we are on the right track. Yeah, if what we do really meets the expectation and what we do really exceeds the expectation. That's, you know, there is a very, you know, basic example. So it would be difficult, you know, to let's analyze on something simple, because everyone flies often. Yeah, we travel a lot, and if I would be a you know, I don't know, Wizz Air, or let's say something about the Lufthansa, yeah, an air you know, a air company, and my moments of truth, you know, would be, for example, my moments of truth for the process of check-in. Yeah, so as a company, I want to understand if what we built for our, you know, travelers, for our clients who fly often with Lufthansa, if what we built as the check-in makes sense, what I would analyze and what I would treat as my moments of truth is the check-in, the registration desk, yeah, how we have this communication, you know, how big are the lines, you know, how long does it take to register, you know, if we offer to our end users online check-in, how easy was that, you know, how this interaction with the system was. This is one moment of truth that I would analyze. And if I would meet a person face to face, imagine there will be, you know, a flight attendant checking your passport or checking your some other details, and they would never smile, they would be aggressive, they would, you know, ruin your day with their behavior. This would be a very bad service provided, right? So this is not a proper communication expected by the traveler. Or if there would be some lines and you would not make it to check in, yeah, because, you know, the company didn't manage it in a timely manner, didn't, you know, check all of the passengers in a timely manner, and you were left out, you know, how would that feel? Yeah, that would be a totally bad experience. So avio companies that would measure it. This is the first encounter, check-in desk. The second one is how you know, how much time it takes for the person to check through the security. What was the experience? You know, how they were treated. The next phase would be when you know, passengers enter the lounge area, yeah, where they expect the flight. Then the boarding, yeah. Then the you know, being seated in the plane. Then the whole flight. Then when they leave the plane and they're finally landed. So all of those will be different moments of truth where a certain exchange of communication happen and certain feedback can be shared and certain KPIs can be measured. And the Avia would build there are moments of truth based on that, and analyzing all of those moments, they will see, you know, how they can improve the quality, how they engage the team, what actually gaps they have, and why this service was bad. If it was good, then perfect, but what they can do more, they can see, you know, how other areas are doing that and improve their services and be competitive. So things like that, you know, in a very primitive way. But in order for those moments of truth to happen, yeah, the company set up specific framework, yeah, and this framework is pretty easy. It has three main components. So in order for service to be, you know, executed and delivered, there are certain tasks that need to be followed. Yeah, we need to do certain actions. We need to go through certain milestones, and we need to understand when we do this service in particular, we do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is our task portfolio. This is our value proposition. This is how we close the gaps for our clients. But also, it's not just about to go through the checklist and do whatever you are told to do. You need to do that with high quality. Yeah, so there are some certain standards attached to that, like how we can do that better, and also as we live in the business, where emotions they are very important. Yeah, we sell emotions every day. We don't just sell I don't know, software or hardware or any other products. We also they are wrapped up in emotions, and we need to manage the hearts of our clients. Yeah, so those standards, the quality standards, they really help to tailor our teams, tailor our behavior and communication, so that we would do that in the best possible way. And once we understand the task, and once we understand the standards to this task, we need to build around that the service delivery system. And by service delivery system, I mean, a lot of different things. This are the people, this is the knowledge of the client. Those are many details that, that help us internalize, so-called, there is a term, internalize the services inside of our company, and improve how we collaborate and how we work as a team and symbiosis to deliver the task with the high quality standard to our clients. And the important thing is that those 3 circles that you see on the screen right now, they're actually present in all of those moments of truth. Yeah, so there is this specific for each moment of truth that we need to follow and measure, and constantly measure, how we do that and improve that situation, and collect this feedback to have this constant translation of perceptions and expectations. So did we meet the expectations? Did we exceed the expectations? What can we do more to exceed the expectations? And of course, it might sound as a very complex work to do, and a lot of time to be spent, a lot of efforts to be spent. But those things are repetitive, and once you have described a service and you understand how you do that, it's just a matter of having the metrics to watch the performance and improve what needs to be improved over time. It's not something you have to do on a daily basis, right? But you need to set it up, and then it will show you the lead. So let me just turn over the slide. So if we would take a closer look to the service task, is more about what and why needs to be done to deliver a service. Yeah, so what we as a company, what we as a team need to do to make this happen. The service standards is how what we do, the service task can be done with a high quality. Yeah, and the service delivery system actually help us understand how we can become this symbiotic mechanism that is constantly delivering value. Yeah, how we need to motivate our associates, how we need to, what processes we need to establish, leadership principles, so that all this will work together, will stick together, and will deliver the value from the very beginning to the very end, and will not fail. So this is what the service delivery system is about. Now, let's have even a deeper look into that. So a service task is within the role and responsibility of the service provider and its associates. Yeah, and in order to do that, we need to understand what is the meaning. Yeah, what is the meaning of whatever we do for the customer? Yeah, if it makes sense for the client or it doesn't make sense for the client. Should we do that? Should we skip that? So we need to think about what. Yeah, so what sort of promises we have in front of the clients, what we committed to do, and what the client is expecting. And now we need to analyze why. Yeah, what is the purpose of the service being offered, how it aligns with the strategy and a vision, a mission. Yeah, and how the clients looks at that, if that matches what they expect. This is what your task should be based on. So whatever you do needs to be tailored to those expectations, to this what and to this why. So we need to have a certain workflow. Yeah, we need to understand the specific actions that we need to do to meet those expectations and exceed those expectations. So this is what the service task is about. Yeah, it's like let's say it's for our checklist of things we need to do on every on every, moment of truth. Let's say, we will have one moment of truth, so we need to propose the client, how we understood the problem and how we are supposed to solve that problem. Yeah. And to make a proposal, we might have certain rules. The proposal is this, not that. The premises are explained like this, not that. So that's an example, how it might look like. This is our sort of value proposition. Yeah. So client, you have problem X, and for problem X, we have service number 1 that fixes that, and service number 1 looks like that, and this is our proposal. Yeah, this is one moment of truth. Another moment of truth, if what we started delivering for the client actually meets that promise. Yeah, very often we do the proposals to the client signs off, we have a deal, we shake the hands, we go home, and in a couple of months we totally forget what we exactly promised. Yeah, but then we get some feedbacks in the form of an NPS, or I don't know, some client satisfaction survey, and we read the comments that something doesn't feel like is going right. Yeah, and the client is not happy, and we try to go back and analyze what happened in the very beginning. And the problem is that people who might be present on some moments of truth, they might not be present on the others. And if we have this gap in information exchange in our service providing companies, we are in trouble, because if information is lost, if those promises are lost and commitments are lost, how we can make sure that we're going to deliver something that the client really expects, plus exceed that expectation, right? That's hardly possible. Then we have a certain standard to this. Yeah. So standards, they frame the quality of a service task. Yeah, that's a sort of mechanism to control and set the direction for the service task. So it's mainly about how. Yeah, again, this might be a process, a framework, a method, technique, or tools, to be used to reach the foreseen result. And service standards have some very crucial features to remember. Yeah, they provide a mechanism of control. They reflect the organization values. Yeah, so our value is to provide something on a very high quality. They represent the values by a customer facing associate. So there might be some standards how those associates should look like, behave like, talk like, and stuff like that. We need to make these standards public. Yeah, so our clients need to understand what we really mean by these standards, so that they can also help us evaluate if our standards of quality actually is what they expected, is actually what they wanted. And we need to be very transparent about that. And together with the client, our clients, we need to build this evaluation system. So if we don't do this, we don't accept it. Yeah, if we did this is super cool, and things like that. So they don't need to be hidden somewhere or done just for the sake of creating another document, but they need to make sense to you and to the client. Now we step into the service delivery system. So service delivery system is a complex thing that has 4 main pillars. This is our service culture. This is the quality of how we deliver, and not the quality of the task itself, but quality of how we deliver. Different performance management systems would be in place, and I think a lot of companies, they do that. They try to measure how competent the people are, and run those different performance appraisals or project audits. So this is some sort of things like that. But also what we miss out very often is the culture, and we miss out the engagement. Yeah, so we don't look at the associate engagement around a service. Yeah, we have a perspective. This is the project team, yeah, or this is some discovery team. So it's like a one or two moments of truth out of entire client journey. Yeah, but we never take a look and analyze it as a whole and see how we can increase this engagement so that information would not be lost from the moments of truth 1 till moments of truth number 10. How to foster this leadership, how to increase motivation and things like that. And also client experience. Yeah, so we need to have more understanding about the client. We need to develop some certain intelligence, client intelligence, how we, collecting different feedbacks, collecting the information, who our clients work with as other vendors, whatever is manageable for us to do. Evaluate somehow the value perceived. Very often when I ask people, not just in my company, but, whoever I speak to in the industry, is that how do you measure the value delivered to the client? I often receive a question back, what do you mean by that? Yeah, how we can measure that? There are things that you have to think, and then we will think how we can measure that. But if you don't understand at the very end, what you deliver, you understand that you deliver some, I don't know, lines of code or screens or applications, but what sense does it make to the client? This is the value, yeah? So the client wants to fix a certain problem or pursue some opportunity. And we need to group ourselves in a way to maximize the efficiency, the quality, of delivering that result to the client. And at the end, we need to understand if what we've done really worked out, if it solved something, or nothing happened. Yeah, because if nothing happened, we can hardly expect the loyal client in the future, and we can hardly expect that client to refer us to someone else, right? So this is why we have to do that. And especially when the market is very competitive, we need to think ahead of those things. Yeah, what extra mile can we do, to satisfy the client and to understand better? To do this, we need to gather a lot of data about our clients, and we need to develop so-called client intelligence. Yeah, we need to invest into account management. We need to, we need to be able to open a system in our companies and, see all the history of client interaction and all of the different, points where clients were satisfied or not satisfied and why that happened. So that's sort of the things. If I will come back, if we speak about the culture, yeah, we need to build the elements of leadership, principles, norms, work habits, vision, mission, values, what unites us as people to work in symbiosis. Yeah, what do we do as a company to achieve that symbiosis? Yeah, what do we do as a company, to foster that value generation? How do we motivate our people to do that? So do we have specific HR processes or leadership principles? Do we measure associates' attitude? Yeah, how we can jump in really quickly and see what's happening, right or wrong. Imagine if you would go to a restaurant and you have an expectation, to be served a really nice, dish, to eat something very cool, and to feel some pleasure. Yeah, it's like a guilty pleasure going to a restaurant, and you want to, you want to have some fun, and you come over. And the host in the restaurant is very aggressive, is very negative, is not dressed up in a proper way, and is not behaving yourself. Then he sits you at the table, and you receive a menu, and the waiter comes over and says nothing that is in the menu is actually cooked. So you can't order what is in the menu. You will eat whatever they think you should eat. Yeah, you want like that experience. Yeah, so those things happen in our industry as well. Even if we think that we developed something that client expected, it doesn't mean that the delivery system made it in a way that the client is happy to accept it. And also we need to make sure that whatever we delivered was in the menu, was promised, and was delivered with a high quality to solve the client problem, right? So this is how those things help us understand that. And to give you a little bit of a meat, yeah, there is one interesting metric that I've never seen people gathering, called customer effort score. So typically we send out to the clients, I don't mean SoftServe right now, I'm speaking in general means, yeah? So typically we send out some sort of customer satisfaction service. How did you like it? How was the team? Blah, blah, blah. And NPS question, would you refer our services, our company, to your friends, colleagues in the industry, whatsoever, which is called NPS, Net Promoter Score. Then we need to, to increase that level. We need to go level up. We need to understand. So even if we do something for the client, there are some things done by the client, right? There is some parts of some sort of self-service or some sort of, we need to have an understanding if the problem raised by the client was solved by us. Partially, fully, we don't know, we have to ask. So asking questions like, how easy was it to resolve their problems, their issues with us? right? Might open your eyes into something different. And this is how you can collect the customer effort score, by asking the client how much time and effort they spent on resolving this problem together with us. So if they expected we would fully cover that and we didn't, we will know it. Yeah. If they expected that they would be 100% involved because they don't trust we can do that on our own and we did it, this is exceed expectation, right? And there are many combinations to that. And it has a very simple formula. And this question can be easily added to any customer satisfaction survey or whatsoever. And you can collect some extra data and learn more about your clients, what they expected, how they were involved, how they felt, and things like that. So you can definitely Google, that customer effort score. There are a lot of, formulas on the in Google, in internet, that you can, apply. So this is very, for this limited period of time, I've explained to you the concept, of how this framework looks like, what components it has. Of course, I can't provide you answers right now in how to do that. Yeah, so I will give you the checklist, and you will go and do it in your company, on your project, on whatsoever. Those things needs to be analyzed, and there are a lot of some sort of maturity assessments that can help you analyze where you are within your business. For example, there might be 5 maturity levels of service excellence. At level 1, the only thing you care about is cost efficiency. Yeah, so you don't care about anything else. Cost efficiency, the cheaper the better, and we don't care. Second, like level number 2 is when you have very good service delivery cycle, when you establish some KPIs, performance management systems that help you measure the quality somehow, maybe not at all of those moments of truth, but at some of them, so that you can understand where things go wrong at a specific period of time. Level number 3, you become more customer centered, and so on and so forth. So level 5 or 6, based on that, you do the gap analysis. So what is missing in your company? So what is not working? People are not engaged. People are not demotivated. You didn't have, contract templates in place, or you didn't track any information, you didn't gather any information. So you need to do the gap analysis, and once you do that, you will see what are the things that you need to do to incorporate in your business in order for this service to be successful. So this is how it's done. I would be more than happy to discuss this topic with you anytime after the conference. You can find me, at LinkedIn, and raise your hand and ask your questions. I will also recommend you, reading, some extra literature about that. This is the slide with some, sort of benefits that you receive, once you incorporate service excellence in your company. Yeah, that this thing can help you, improve your brand's awareness. Gain higher reputation in front of the clients, remain competitive, have these competitive advantages, boost efficiency, because you might analyze that some of the processes that you do are inefficient and you don't need them, and you can do that in some other way. So it drives improvements, it drives some sort of self-criticism, it drives analyzing how you deliver services, how what you do, how you do, why you do that, and you can do some sort of reflection of how things can be done different, better, efficient, and things like that. So that's all for me. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I think we still have time to reply to them. I don't know, Dennis, I need you back.
Thank you very much, Nati. So great speech and great recommendations, great tools that you have recommended. So I believe all our viewers today will grab something for them and will apply that in their daily work. Yes, we have a number of questions to you, and just want to remind that after the conference you will pick one of the best questions that you will decide, and we will recognize this person with a prize. So question number 1, how you can provide the best service we can to deliver an excellent value and do not harm a client by doing their obligatory part of work? What is the balance of positive influence?
Oh God, this is a very good question. I don't think there is any silver bullet to answer to that, and I think everything is everything depends on what kind of service you provide, what kind of clients you work with. Yeah, so there is a balance that you need to figure out. But according to the leaders of service excellence on the market, the client needs to be a part of that. The amount of time the client needs to be a part of that is not calculated or evaluated by anyone. So you need to find this perfect balance for yourself based on your experience, based on understanding the client. If we have little understanding of the client, we will do maybe the maximum efforts. If you understand better, we will understand maybe we need to do less because the client is irritated by something. So you constantly need to measure that. So for that reason, you need to establish those moments of truth and ask the client, how do you see that? These are our standards. How do you see that? Do they comply with how you see that? Have this conversation. The more conversations of this kind you will have, the better big picture you will have, and might be able to generalize that in most of the cases this works like this, and this is how we're going to do that. So this is client type A, type B, type C, and this is how we deliver that to those different types of clients. This is what they like, this is what they prefer. Build this intelligence about the client. It takes time, for sure. It might take years to do that, but the sooner you start, the sooner you will see the outcomes that you can work with and you can base your decision and improvements on. If that answers the question, I don't know.
I hope it does. Okay, so thank you for the answer. So our next question. Service excellence is about culture and mindset, first of all, isn't it? Where and how do you start building the necessary culture and the mindset? Which behavioral changes do you need?
Yeah, culture, like the culture, it's strategy for breakfast, right? Culture is very important, and it starts when you analyze where things go wrong. Not maybe who exactly you can blame with that, but you need to analyze, like, we have no leadership, yeah? Again, I'm speaking in general terms. I'm not speaking for any specific company. Once you realize the problems, once you realize that you have gaps, once you realize that, okay, we say we're super great, we're leaders in the industry, but we are not. This is when you start changing that and you start seeing so what is exactly the thing that glues us together. Yes, what is that magic combination of things that makes us stick together and work together, or vice versa? What is toxic in our behavior that makes us feel apart and don't feel as one whole? Because the culture is something that unites us together. Yeah, you go to the you become members of different associations or clubs because there are some certain interests, the atmosphere, yeah, that unites you and other people of the same mindset, yeah, that you can hang around together, spend some time together. You get married because you feel some sort of similar energy with your spouse, yeah, and you understand that you can stick together for many years till death apart you. But this is the same thing. So when people work together, there is a certain atmosphere, there is a certain values that you share that makes you stick together, hang around together, and understand each other. If it's not present and it's everything is toxic, it will not work. So first of all, try to analyze, do we have a leadership? Do we have principles? Do we have values? When we hire people, do we have an onboarding process that shares this information? Yeah. What do we do to create this atmosphere for our people? If our people all work from home and we're never seeing them face to face, it's hard to manage, right? It's hard to build some rapport with those kind of people. So we need to think, maybe we need to invest into some face-to-face meeting, into some team buildings, into something else. So I'm just making up some examples where to start with, but there are definitely in the internet some sort of checklist that can help you understand where to start from and how you can analyze all that. start with your team, start talking to your people and collecting feedback about that. This is the easiest thing to do. Try to talk to all of them and put all the data together and see if there is a pattern. Yeah, if people express their positive and negative feelings about the collaboration and work and the project, and there is a pattern to that, if they speak about the same stuff. And this is where you can start from. As a BA, this is what I would do, but we always like to analyze a lot of data. PMs might not be, inclined to do that. So hire a BA to help you with that. That's my recommendation.
Correct. So it's all about the people. Okay. Thank you. We have one more question, if you don't mind. What do you think about the risk of growing expectations upon providing the best quality service that you can? I mean, I think that it's about.
So you mean like if we are too cool and we are too good, the client might have this higher expectations? Well, it might happen. It might happen. That's why you need to have this, this constant, communication and collect this feedback. And always there is something that you start with. There is a certain contract or proposal in place that you agree to some specific expectations. This is what you agree. And whatever you do extra needs to be counted as extra. But there might be people who can cheat the system, right? There might be clients, this might be their way of bargaining or their way of not being honest. You will never secure yourself from clients like that. So maybe that's not your client, and maybe you should not, tear yourself apart to satisfy that client. Yeah, maybe that's a not out of your system. So you need to analyze more than one client, and you need to analyze all of them and maybe future prospects, to have the patterns of this is how we work. But don't expect that, failure will never happen. That's why when you collect all those scores, even NPS, you don't always have to end up with 10. 7 is enough, right? You don't have to go below 5, to stay competitive and to have a high reputation. So that's how it works. There will be always some percentage of clients, who won't be happy with whatever you do. Even if you jump up to the sky, if you will, develop something super innovative for them. Because people are people. Yeah, we work in the people business. Yeah, you can't always put everyone into one system and expect 100% efficiency. Things like that might happen. But yeah, the risk exists. You just need to see if what you do happens to all of the clients, if expectations, what you do, grows the client's expectations progressively, and it's typical for all of your clients, or just one. Yeah, and then you will make your conclusion based on that. But I would not, at the very beginning, I would not think of that unless that happens, to be honest. Yeah. Always smile, always try to communicate. If the client expects something from you and you don't respond, for weeks, it's not a good service. Yeah. So those little things that you can change might be very little. Yeah. But they will be significant to the client. And that's what, might improve their understanding of a service, or their perception and their expectations. So that's what service excellence is about. Yeah, don't jump over your head, but overthink about the client. Be customer centered, some sort like that.
Great point. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Nati, for joining us today from Abu Dhabi. I do believe that you will enjoy your day today. And I hope all our viewers enjoyed your speech. So now we're going to have a little break for a couple of good, cool ads, and we will get back to you right after that.